evidence of the government actions and deliberate undermining of public participation in their decision making is all over.
The second schedule of the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020 is unconstitutional for being in breach of Article 10.2 and 87.7a of the Constitution of Kenya 2020 for lack of public participation.
As evidenced by court decisions, when bills are subjected to judicial scrutiny and put under the magnifying glass of the Constitution, over 30 bills and acts of parliament have been ruled either in their entirety or partly as unconstitutional, null and void by our judiciary and the courts due to lack of public participation, inadequate public participation, or even bogus processes that have been masked as public participation. The courts have had very interesting remarks to make while ruling these acts of parliament as a nullity and inconsistent with our constitution. In a case example, Justice Odunga, in the Robert Gakuru case of 2014, remarked that public participation ought to be a real process and not an illusionary process. In the Social Health Insurance Fund judgment that ruled the acts of parliament that passed Chief Shah as unconstitutional, null and void in their entirety, the High Court in 2014 was very clear and categorical that giving reasons for the rejection of public views in passing of an act of parliament or government decision making is a critical part of the public participation process. Meaning you cannot just reject my views as a Kenyan, as I hold sovereign power. And you must give a detailed report as to why you rejected my views as a Kenyan who has all sovereign powers of the nation. And they ruled that this is a very critical safeguard to ensure that public participation process is not merely a public relations exercise. When public participation is undertaken as a cosmetic process and a rubber stamp process by the government, the cost is counted in billions. When acts of parliament that has taken time and resources are nullified by the courts, the cost is in billions. When critical projects are stopped for lacking public participation, the cost is counted in billions. All this have been as a result of the government ignoring our constitution that guarantees us this right. Is public participation meant to be a thorough process? The Constitution answers in the affirmative that you cannot take this process as a mere suggestion, that you cannot take this process to just be a writing in the Constitution, that you must hold it as the light that guides you as the government in the decision-making process of the country, to avoid losses of resources, to avoid losses of our time, and to avoid stalling of government projects, and to avoid shame like the kind we have when courts are rejecting a bill that has gone through over 400 members of parliament as representatives of the people, simply because the views of the people were never incorporated in it. Yet the Constitution provides for the avenues that can be used and shall be used and should be used to collect the views of the people. The politicians rush majority of these bills. For example, the recently passed National Infrastructure Fund bill. But the Constitution is very clear. If you cannot slow down for the people, the end result does not justify the means. And simply, the process is not sanctified because Parliament has passed it, but the process is sanctified by listening to the sovereign who are the people, incorporating their views in the decision making, and coming up with a decision bill and final determination that reflects the views of the people and that reflects where the heart of the people lies. Today, I have a letter to the government. I have a letter to the public institutions of this nation. I have a letter to the national and county governments. Public participation is not a suggestion. It is a right granted to us by the Constitution. All sovereign power belongs to the people of the Republic of Kenya. This nation is for all of us, over 55 million Kenyans, and does not belong to some of us. When the Constitution says that the views of the people must be incorporated in the decision making process that affects the whole country, it must be exactly that. And there must not be exclusion of any provision of the Constitution that says and states clearly that the people and their participation in the decision making process of the government is critical, is important, and must be paid attention to. The Constitution says that public participation must be the very foundation that you build your decisions on, and that must be respected, as this nation belongs to all of us. Public participation is not a favor by the political class to the people. It is a right granted by the Constitution. Public participation was never meant as a process to ratify your decisions as the government and as the public institutions that act in public trust. But it was a process meant for the people to inform those very decisions that you make. Public participation does not come at the tail end of the process, but is at the very beginning of the process that informs the decisions you make on behalf of the public. Public participation is the heart of the nation. It is the heart that beats and ensures that the governance of Kenya is people centered and not you centered. Your decisions affect all of us, and therefore, the power to make those decisions does not rest on you only. That power belongs to all of us. We do not request to be involved in the decision making of the country. It is our right. We demand it, and it must be implemented, as the Constitution is the document that governs this nation. Let me be dangerously clear to the politicians who walk on the gilded halls of our government institutions, legislative arms, and all other public institutions that represent the people. Public participation is neither a gift nor a polite invitation to us. You are not our masters. You are agents and our employ. You do not act independently of the people. You act on behalf of the people. And therefore, every decision that you make must reflect the views, the wants of the people, and not your own not your own selfish decisions. The decisions you make in the halls of power, you make them on our behalf. Remember, the power that you hold is donated to us through our constitutional arms and constitutional processes. The power you hold today is but a lease for a limited period of time. It can be cancelled. We can decide to take our power back because it does not belong to you. It belongs to us. And in case you forgot, the constitution that gives you your mandate and grants you the power It was passed by us and clearly states in Article 1 that all sovereign power of the Republic of Kenya belongs to the people of the Republic of Kenya, meaning all of us. When we elect you as a member of parliament, when we elect you as a president, when we elect you as a member of county assembly, we do not do that to give you autonomous power to make decisions that affect us and not involve us. We elect you to represent us. First, listen to us, pass our views to all the other organs that make the decisions of the country, and ensure that those decisions reflect our views. We do not ask for much, but our constitutionally guaranteed power that is given to us, by us, through the Constitution. When we elect you for 5 years, we lease that office to you. And the decision to renew that lease is in our hands and not yours. And you must therefore not act against our interests, but act in our interests. We do not beg to be heard. We demand it. We demand to be heard, as those decisions you make are not just for you, are for us as well. This is our right, a non-negotiable right. Your time for bypassing the people's voice is over. We no longer operate under such rules, and we no longer operate under darkness. We now operate under the light of our new constitution that we granted to ourselves to move the power away from the gilded halls of government institutions and put it in the hands of the people, who will delegate that power to the people they so wish, whom they know, whom they perceive will guarantee those rights, will guard those rights, and ensure that every right granted under the Constitution to the people is adhered to. We are all bound by the 2010 Constitution, and not just we, the Mwananchi, even you who walk the halls of power. The power does not begin and end with you. The power begins and ends with we, the people. That is my unfiltered insight.